in front of the FBI office. I reported of my case of organized crime involving private investigators, colluding with New York police. And the FBI has my evidence, and they trying to cover up my case. So I've been coming here almost every day since November 2020 to do a protest. I'm advocating and protesting against the current police system. The police are still not. They basically violate people's rights and freedom, and they're not respecting other people's rights. My case involves private investigators. Ever since I left my oil and gas job, I was being harassed by private investigators. And my case started in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and my case is the second case. It's not the first case that this happened. And the first case happened to a woman named Akele Taylor. Her spelling is, her first name is Akele, last name Taylor, Taylor. If you Google that, you will see her case that she was being harassed by private investigator and Calgary police. The Calgary police has a history of corruption, perjury, harassment against their own police women, and excessive use of force. And nobody can do anything about it. And but lucky for the other woman, Akele Taylor, she had a whistleblower, which led to a conviction of a private investigator and 3 police officers of criminal harassment and corruption. Yeah, so these police officers were paid by the private investigators to harass this woman. And she went to the police to report it of this harassment, but she was framed to have mental illness. So my case is the same. I reported these incidents to the Calgary police, and I was framed to have mental illness. So they branded me by setting up falsified information and set me up by forcing me to the hospital and have the doctors falsify medical reports saying I have mental illness. So what happened was that I was rear-ended twice. And the police used those 2 car accidents, reported to the judge saying that I was driving with delusion, a type of mental illness, with my son in the car. But the fact is my son was in school, and I have school attendance to provide as evidence. And I also recorded those car accidents to show my son was not even at the scene of the accident. This is the police system that we have, that the police can conceal evidence and go to the court and provide false testimony to the judge, and the judge can grant them warrants. So, innocent people are being forced to go to jail or go to the hospital if they're, framed to have mental illness. So basically the police are doing this to brand the person in a way, like, brand someone to be a criminal or brand someone to have mental illness. So I went all the way to the RCMP headquarters in Canada. So the RCMP is equivalent to FBI in America. I submitted my case information and evidence to the FBI or to the RCMP, and they tried to cover up and put in. They took in my information and case information and evidence, but they wouldn't open an investigation with no reason given to me saying why they wouldn't do an investigation, or they just wouldn't respond, or put me in a loop, or bounce me around to different departments. So this is how the police work, and they manipulate the system and try to cover up the case. So I moved to New York with my son last year, July 2019, thinking that the situation would be better, but it's not. string of crimes continued to commit. My car got broken in here in New York City. My important documents were stolen, and I was assaulted, intentionally assaulted at the subway station here at New York City. And I had a witness who saw that I was intentionally assaulted at the subway station. So these cases were reported to the police, and they wouldn't do anything about it. I was told that my assault case were submitted to the DA. Her name is Teresa Ganthe, Genthe, and I was told that she was supposed to send an affidavit for me to sign, so that she could submit my my testimony about the assault to the judge. She never sent that to me, and I called and wrote to her, emailed her. She wouldn't get back to me or send me that affidavit. I specifically told her that I would lay charges against the attacker, but she just covered up or wouldn't respond to my emails. So the fact that I know the police are colluding with private investigators because I have evidence. So what happened was on July 17th, 2020, I tried to fly out to Switzerland, seeing that there's no, I'm desperately, want to leave this country because the police are colluding with private investigators. String of crimes are committing against me. So I was denied of boarding. I bought the airplane tickets to fly out to Switzerland, but I was denied of boarding the plane. I wasn't given a reason except for they said something about COVID, and that's BS because I checked with the European Council that you are allowed to travel to Europe as long as you follow the 14 days quarantine. Other people were able to board the plane to Switzerland, except for me and my son. So I went to the Port Authority police to report about this incident, and they set me up with a fake cop. Yeah, so I knew there's something. This type of incidents happen to me, that they set up, fake cop or people to frame me to have mental illness. So I used a hidden camera to record the conversation that I had with the Port Authority police. So this is the fake cop. This person who is wearing a real police uniform with the name stitched on, Lieutenant J. Cruz, and he has a second name tag, Hernandez or something. This is his real identity. He flipped over. So this is how they do their undercover operation. So anybody can hire private investigators to do investigations, but these private investigators are abusing their licenses to harass people, to stalk people. Sometimes they break the law, and it's just that we don't have strong laws to regulate these private investigators, such as Akel Taylor's case, that the private investigator abuses license and stalked her and harassed her, and the police got involved and to harass her. So my case is the same, is that these police or Port Authority police collude with private investigator. Real evidence right here, and to set me up. So when I reported of this case of fake cop, I was being framed by the New York police for mental illness. Yeah, I mean, so I went to the FBI, submitted my evidence to the FBI to show that this is legit. I have a videotape. FBI agents are not stupid people. They're federal agents. They're intelligent people. They can tell whether if this evidence is real or fake. And the FBI agent 05 and FBI agent Gale, gave me the spelling GELOK, took in the case information and this evidence. And he told me the FBI will get back to me in 2 weeks. They never contact me. So this is the type of police that we have, or law enforcement that we have. They lie to you. They said they get back to you in 2 weeks. It never happened. So I reported this. I submitted this evidence to the internal affairs of NYPD. They have the evidence. They have my case information, and they told me that they don't do investigations. Yeah, the internal affairs of NYPD, they don't do investigations, and I have proof of that, of their lies, because I recorded of their lies. Because whenever you talk to the police officers, always do a recording, because even though they have a body camera, sometimes they switch it off. Same thing happened to me when I was assaulted at the subway station. The police officer asked me about what happened to take verbal statement from me. She intentionally turned off her body camera. I saw her turn off her body camera when she took down my statement. And so I used my phone to do the recording of the statement. So this is, I have plenty of evidence of recordings to show that the New York police continue to lie, continue to manipulate their authorities. So, and the FBI, yeah, you would think that they would do a better job. No, same thing. When it comes to police officers or police corruption, don't expect that they're doing the right job or follow the procedures. They won't do that. They would do whatever it takes to cover up, such as George Floyd's case. You have video evidence of a police officer killing a man. Yeah, no kidding. And guess what? Their officers, commanders, higher authority, they won't even do an investigation to try to cover up until you have massive people protest on the street. And then they open an investigation and charge those police officers. So, this is a continual problem. It's a never. The police system is toxic. It's a toxic culture, and that's in Canada and America. This is a problem. I mean, how is it democracy when your rights and freedom are not protected? Who's going to protect your rights and freedom if the police officers themselves are violating your rights and freedom? How is it human rights, something that we believe in, and we're the leading countries of the world to promote this human rights, but we don't. The police officers are not respecting your human rights. No joke. I mean, this is serious. This is my case is a showcase of how police abuse their system, abuse their authority, how they cover up a case, even if you provided them with evidence, and they continue to cover up because they can. Simply because they can. And if they get caught doing the wrong thing, nothing will happen to them. So here I am protesting in front of the FBI office, and they need to do something about it. And the fact they're not doing something about it, it shows that cover up is just not the right thing here. It's not democracy. FBI! Do an investigation! Do not cover up my case! You have the case evidence, and it's legit! Fake cop! Yeah, you have a picture of fake cop where I was set up by the New York police with a fake cop. Shame on you! You're the FBI! Whether if the evidence is legit. Come and arrest me if I submitted false evidence. Shame on you for covering up. and I'm pretty upset about the whole situation with the FBI. And you would think that going to the FBI, submitting your evidence of an organized crime of private investigators, and they're not following procedures. Even though if they have a procedure that they can follow, but they won't, it's like their choice whether they can do an investigation or not. So, right here, fake cop. I was set up by fake cop. They're not stupid people. Federal agents are not stupid people. And the fact that they're trying to cover up my case shows that, it's a continuous problem of our law enforcement in America and Canada. In Canada, the RCMP are basically, they have absolute rights. No kidding. The RCMP, the police, they have almost like absolute rights to abuse their power. They can go to court, provide verbal testimony, and get a warrant. So same here in America. How many people went to prison because of these police officers telling lies to the judge? And the really messed up thing is that the judges are believing these police officers. These judges believe in these police officers' testimony in the court because that's what they do. That's what the judges do. They just believe them. I mean, knowing the fact that the police don't always tell the truth, the police corruption is a problem in our country, and I don't understand why the judges continue to believe these cops. And it's affecting a lot of people. It has it's ruined people's lives. People go to prison because police officers, they either lied or they set up incidents. Sometimes they tamper with evidence. Sometimes they conceal evidence from the judge. And so who's going to, you have to pay thousands of dollars to get a lawyer to defend yourself, or it's giving you a lot of stress, and not only like emotional stress, but financial stress. So these police officers know how they can, in a way, they know what they do that has serious impact on people's lives, and they don't care. They simply don't care because they're getting paid for doing what they do. Seriously, they get paid for doing what they do. And so, even though if they're doing a bad job, they know they're doing a bad job, but they're still getting paid. Who's going to regulate them? Their commanders or higher authorities are covering up or, help them get out of a bad situation. So this is what I'm protesting. I'm really upset of the police system. It's wrong. I mean, I have real evidence, I have video evidence that the FBI wouldn't take in. They have, the picture evidence isn't, it's enough for them to know that I have legit evidence of private investigator that, they pose as fake cop to frame me, colluding with police, like New York police. So I'm going to continue to protest. And, shame on the FBI. Yeah, shame on you, FBI. This is real evidence right here. Real evidence of fake cop, Lieutenant J. Cruz. You see that? You see that wearing a real police uniform and a second name tag, Hernandez, cover up as his real evidence? You gotta be kidding me. Shame on you, FBI, for covering up my case. Shame on you. FBI! Shame on you! Do not cover up! Okay, so, sometimes I get harassed by these security guards. They come out and they harass me, and they wouldn't allow me to stand here and protest. with no legal reasons, to tell me to get out. Or so, I've been telling them to stop harassing me, and they, so far today, yeah. So anyway, I am going to continue to protest, and yeah, shame on the FBI.